everybody. Welcome here today for our January 2019 Igniting Souls Fellowship. Happy New Year to you all. I know that this is exciting because we get to start off our new year by talking about things that typically are going to make us feel a little bit weird. I don't know about you, but I have some superpowers. Do you all have superpowers here?
Yeah.
All right, how about online? Go ahead and type in some of your superpowers as well. Welcome to our Facebook group. We are so excited to have you with us this year. But I know for me, sometimes having my superpowers makes me feel a little bit odd. It makes me feel like I am different from other people. And other people aren't going to appreciate them, so why in the world would I share them with the world? But today, we're actually going to learn how we can use those superpowers to not only our advantage, but to help other people as well. Would everyone like to hear about that?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so today we have our Chief Igniter, Carrie Oberbrunner, who's going to share with us a new teaching called How to Build a Business Around Your Superpower. So please, everyone, help me bring him up to the stage today. Here's Carrie Oberbrunner.
Awesome. Hey, it's great to be with you guys today. Eric, if you can grab the mic, that'd be great. Awesome. Welcome. It's fantastic to be here. We got a lot of new people. If you are a first-time person, we're not going to ask you to stand up, but just raise your hand. Just raise your hand, and we're going to get you a gift. So, Renee, we got some fantastic books here. If you can hand me those books, I'm going to basically read off the books. A lot of times people, go ahead, you got them. A lot of times people give me books, and I read them, so some of these have been read. But this is Hopeland Brown, Fill Your Gap. We're going to give that to somebody. Hang on, let me read all these. We have The Power of Community. This one was even signed and addressed to me. Don't tell the author. But it was really good. But again, I only got so much space in my house. This one is called Small Business, Big Pressure. We're going to give that away. We have Freaking Out. Does anyone feel like 2019 is a freak out yet? Freaking Out to Flying Free. We have Undefeated, From Trial to Triumph. A lot of these are actually our authors, Author Academy Elite authors. We have a dear friend of mine, Brenda Hare, Save the Butter Tubs, Discover Your Worth in a Disposable World. So we're going to give that one out. Another one about who set a New Year's resolution to work out? Anybody? All right. Are you a gym mouse? It talks about how to work out in the gym if you feel like you don't belong. Has anyone felt like that? Here's kitchen simplicity. Hey, some cooking in 2019. God's love, everlasting, 365 devotions. And our last and final one, Joanne Miller. And this is Be Your Finest Art. If you have that art gene in you, we want to give these away to you. We are going to put them at the back table. If you are a first-time guest, you pick the one that speaks to you on your way out. Is that cool?
Yes.
Don't forget. Okay, don't forget. All right, we're going to talk about how to build a business around your superpowers. Now, we have a lot of courses in our program, Igniting Souls University. We have a lot of courses that are all designed about how to find your superpower. One of those would be your secret name. One of those would be the deeper path. And then we help people find their full-time gig in a course called Day Job to Dream Job. I'm not focusing on that today. I'm focusing around your superpower. We're not going to take a deep dive on what is your superpower, although I will give you a few hints. You ready? You ready, guys?
Yeah.
So this is quick crash course on superpowers, and then we're going to talk about how to build a business around your superpowers. But a superpower is something that feels really easy for you and effortless. Easy and effortless. You are me with a dry eraser marker, and that is like a lasso for Wonder Woman. I don't know, that's the first one that I can think of. I don't know. I'm not a big Marvel Comics dude or whatever, so forgive me if I butcher comic people, okay? But you put a dry erase marker in my hand, give me a whiteboard, watch out. I mean, those are where my superpowers come out. Vision casting, all kinds of things. I love that. But I know certain people that have amazing superpowers in this room. David is a man who has a genius superpower about building online businesses. Joel, has anyone here seen Joel do emceeing? Oh my gosh. People have said Like, where did you find that guy, you know, in Hollywood? I mean, this guy is so it feels effortless for him, and guess what? Other people acknowledge it. If you say, hey man, singing feels effortless, but everybody runs, that's not a superpower, okay? So what I'm saying is you're affirmed and acknowledged, and it feels effortless. Does that make sense? Does anyone have a little bit of an inkling of what a superpower might be for them? Yeah? Go ahead.
Public speaking.
Public speaking, excellent. Just really quick, anybody else? Yes?
Facilitating groups.
Facilitating groups. You are a rock star. You are a superhero. Now, what if today you learn how to build a business around that? Would that be pretty cool?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's keep jumping in. Let's talk today about, hey, we have a goal of igniting 10 million souls. We had a goal of doing that by 2020 for 1 million, and we achieved it. We already achieved it. So we said, hey, we're thinking too low. We got to bump it up a little bit. So now it's 10 million by 2020. And in order to achieve that, I'm going to ask you guys right now and online as well. And we have a free gift for people who do. But if you guys can share that, all you need to do is look on Facebook, pull out your mobile phone, go to Facebook, type in bald guy with a girl's name, that's me. Type in carryover runner, you'll see my author page. That's where we are live right now. And if you can hit share, that would be fantastic. Why? Because more people will be able to get this teaching for free, okay? They'll be able to get this teaching, they'll be able to understand it, they'll be able to realize, hey, I can build a business around my superpower as well. Erica, where are people from today?
Texas, Arizona, Wisconsin, California, UK.
UK, fantastic. All kinds of people all over the world. Usually we have about 2,000 people. So thanks for coming today live. And here's what David and you guys helped us achieve. While most people were chilling and eating turkey on December 24th to December 30th, David was hard at work, and not really. He automated them, but we reached over 2.1. All right, you were hard at work. All right, I'm kidding. He was hard at work. Yeah, we can't achieve this without David's help, but we reached 2.1 million people between 24th and 30th of December. So thank you guys for being part of the tribe. Thanks for sharing this. We don't make this up. Facebook tells us what we're doing. How many of you found us through Facebook? Anybody? Okay, so everybody here in the room found out through what? A person? I know, Becky, you invited a nice friend. Thanks for bringing him. We have Cher over here, who I bought couches from. You know, how random is that? At Haverty's. So just saw her today. I'm like, hey, you're here. That's cool. But here's the gift that we want to give you guys. Erica's going to drop it in the links. You all can write this down if you want, or take a picture. elixirprojectbook.com/assessment. It literally will give you your unhackability score. So it will be able to give you a private, nobody else sees this, a private view of how often you're getting hacked in life. Is that cool? Is that cool or what? Where it'll show you, hey, you know, you have a 67% score, which means that you're getting hacked regularly. And this isn't hack like your phone or computer's getting hacked. We're going to talk about it's how your dreams and how your productivity are getting hacked. Would that be cool?
Yeah.
All right, Erica's going to share that. It's only cool for the front row here. You guys didn't say yes, so no, I'm kidding. My title here is Chief Igniter. I love what I do. David is my business partner. Couldn't do it without him. Erica's a teammate. We have a lot of people in the room who are teammates as well. But thanks for being here today. Here's what you're going to discover today. How kryptonite robs you from making a bigger impact in your world. You want to know what kryptonite is? You guys want to know what your kryptonite is today?
Yes.
It's not dark chocolate, although that's pretty cool. I like dark chocolate. We're going to talk about what your kryptonite is and how it robs you from making a bigger impact in the world. We're going to talk today about how to build a business around your superpower. I'd love to know what people say in the Facebook comments, what their kryptonite, what they think their kryptonite is. And then number 3, a proven plan for staying true to your superpower every single day. Would that be cool to learn that stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. If I can help you achieve that, if I can help you achieve that today, would that change your life? What do you think? Come on, one person? You, facilitator, you? Okay, so you guys seriously think that would change your life? What if I guaranteed the results? Would you be like, okay, now I'm starting to believe him? Would that be pretty cool? So here's what I got a little fun exchange today. I told David I was going to do this. I said, you know what, it's 2019, let's take a risk. Let's be silly. Let's make it happen today. If I can do this and guarantee this for you, would you give me $832? What do you think? Oh, whoa, it's suddenly got, whoa. All right, now we're talking, right? Let's go back. But if I could guarantee it, let's go back. Because again, I'm going to teach my heart out today, but you don't have to pay for something on your way out, but hang with me. But if I can show you these three things, look at them real long, look at them real hard, read every single word, and if I can help you do that and guarantee it, would you give me $832? What do you think? I see a couple of heads shaking. All right, I see a hand raised. Okay. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to do that, but I'm just asking you. Okay. All right, let's jump right into it. Let's jump into the teaching today. I'm going to give you 70 straight minutes of content. This is not anybody up on the stage today. This is get out your pens, get out your notebook. Why am I passionate today? I'll tell you why I'm passionate today. Because over Christmas break, we buried two people. One was 31 and one was 15. And some of you know that. Miriam White in the Worthington Christian community, and then Eric Smith, who used to go to Powell. Susan would know who he is. A 31 and a 15-year-old were buried over Christmas break. Do you think that life's short? Do you think that, people went out today, hey, I'm just driving to school today on a snowy road, and now it's over? That's why I'm a little bit pumped today. That's why I'm a little bit serious today, because I realize, look, guys, we don't have time. We don't have time, and the longer you let self-limiting beliefs or procrastination hack you, the longer you're robbing the world of your impact. Do you believe that? I mean, that was me for a lot of years. Do I have what it takes? What if I don't take action? I'm comfortable. Every year that ticks by is another year that you're not impacting people. That's why I'm passionate today. I'm going to say up front that I'm going to give you my full heart. I've spent 4 years researching this topic, but there's no way I can cram it into 70 minutes. So at the end, if you absolutely love what I'm saying, it fits your heart, you know this is right, I'm going to encourage you to take a next step with me. Cool?
Yes.
All right, let's roll. What would need to happen to make this next year your most amazing year on planet Earth? Go ahead, write that down. A few of you have got pen and paper. Actually, all of you do, or notebooks or mobile phones. Jot this down, and online too. Go ahead and type it. What would need to happen to make this next year your most amazing year on planet Earth? What would need to happen? It could be relationally, financially, spiritually, physically. I'd love for people to jot that down. Does anyone want to say theirs super quick in one sentence? Does anyone in the room want to share? Hey, this is what would need to happen. Miriam, what do you got?
Overcoming distractions.
Okay.
Improving my health, getting out of debt, and actually creating six-figure digit income.
I love it. That's 4 things, but I will take it. I will absolutely take it. We're going to make that a foursome right there. I love it. Anybody else? Joel.
Connect and engage with 30 community foundation leaders every week.
Wow. Do you think you could achieve that? I mean, that was specific. Number, time, leaders, community leaders, excellent. Great. You wrote one thing down. Fantastic. All right, let's jump right in. This is a real person. Some of you know her. How many of you know Tanisha? You know that this was a picture of her. She's a school teacher, and she had a goal a couple years ago that she said, you know what? I want to lose 35 pounds. I want to start writing a book. I want to increase my influence online. How many of you seen Tanisha in October? Anybody? She's a different person, isn't she?
Yeah.
What did she do? She lost 50. Forget 35. She lost 50. She mapped out her book, and she became a vlogger and completed a 90-day straight video gratitude series. Pretty cool?
Yeah.
All right. Here she is, a picture. You see the change? See, this is why when people say people don't change, I'm like, seriously? People don't change? Sure, some people don't change. That's why the worst thing you could ever say to me is come up to me and say, Carrie, I haven't seen you in 5 years and you haven't changed a bit. Why would that be insulting? Because I hope I change every day, right? So here's Tanisha, and she says, this is me on the left, and I did this thing called Elixir Project Experience where I learned how to become unhackable in work and life. What does she see? I learned how to implement ideas into action. It's not a magic weight loss program. Trust me, it's not. But she says what I learned about was creating productivity and a healthy lifestyle, and it helped me lose over 50 pounds. So guys, this works. What I'm going to share with you in the next 70 minutes absolutely works. Here's Jeff Kramer. Some of you know him as well. Again, I'm not picking fake people here. Some of you know Jeff. He wanted more clarity. He wanted more focus. He wanted to create an online course. This was him after he went through what I'm about to teach here. He unsubscribed from 140. Listen, when you get up in the morning and 140 people tell you what their agenda is, do you think, even in delete, do you think you're wasting your life?
Yeah.
Here's what he said. I gained $900 like that because I went through Elixir Project Experience and I unsubscribed to things that were just sitting there that I didn't even know was coming out of my bank account each month. And he created his first online course. So guys, I'm passionate about this topic today. So let me ask you the question, what if you could become unhackable? What does that mean? You had the power to create ideas and implement them effectively. Number two, where you could architect your attention. Have you ever realized that? We architect all kinds of things, buildings, sandboxes, playgrounds. What if you could architect your attention and invest in the most important things to you? Would that be pretty cool? I didn't hear anybody. All right, that's not cool. That's cool to me. Number three, you knew how to find and utilize the needed resources to accomplish your dream. Would that be pretty cool?
Yes.
All right, number four, you understood how to exponentially increase your impact on the world. Pretty cool?
Yes.
I mean, most people at the end of their lives, they don't say, hey man, I wish I had $100 more. They say, I wish I would have spent more time, and then usually it's fill in the blank, impacting people. And then lastly, you organized your life around flow. Folks, I'm going to teach you about flawless idea anatomy, something called deliberate magnetic focus, and something called optimal human performance, idea, focus, and flow. This is a passion of mine. I decided to write a fiction book around it back in 2016, but prior to that, I spent 2 years, so now it's been 4 years, studying neurobiology, studying elite human performance, and I'm going to share all that with you today. Pretty cool? Mm-hmm. All right, and by the way, all the haters, not in the room because there's no haters in the room, but all the haters online who say you can't write a fiction book and turn it into a course or a business, baloney. What you're seeing right now is this. So again, part of my rationale for doing that is I'm a publisher and I'm an author. And I wanted to show the world that, you know what, you can actually write a fiction book that's purely fiction, but based upon science and neurobiology and faith and all kinds of things mixed together, and then create a legitimate, proven course from it. And so that's kind of what I'm sharing today as well. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Here we go. We're going to race. I'm talking fast today on purpose because it's about 3 hours worth of content. So breathe deep. And Jim Elliott says, wherever you are, be all here. You guys in the room can do that much easier than the people online. They got little windows popping up and notifications and all that. But I believe you guys can do it online as well. So there's no turning back. When Morpheus said that to Neo, this is where you're going to go now. How many of you as kids said this word? Abracadabra. Abracadabra. I did too. I had no idea what it meant, but I just said abracadabra. Do you guys know what it means? Do you know what it means? It means, get this, it means I create as I speak. Abracadabra, and the people who are faith-based in the room, it's actually a mystery. You Google this word, and you're going to find that this is the most translated word across ancient cultures. It actually represents Father, Son, and Spirit in the letters. And go ahead, Google it later, and you can find this out. But it's a Hebrew meaning, and it literally means, I create what I speak. Think about that. You as a kid were saying when it rained outside, and you said, no, I'm supposed to go to the circus. Abracadabra, stop raining. That's what you said, and you wanted to speak and create simultaneously. What if you could do that? Now you might say, Carrie, that's just hopeful. That's just wishful thinking. You can't do that. Maybe it's not that we can't do it. Maybe we were supposed to do it. What if you were actually designed in your DNA to be somebody who speaks and then accomplishes all in one? Would that be cool? Well, let me show you something. It's the Hebrew language, and it means it came to pass as it was spoken. Now today, we say, well, that's not true. There's a gap. There's a gap between what I say and what happens. There's a big gap. Well, is there supposed to be? Again, there's this little thing in the first book of Scripture that says, Genesis 1:1, it says, God said, let there be light, and then he played Xbox. Right? I mean, doesn't it say that? God said, let there be light, and then he got sucked into binge watching Netflix. No, it says, God said, let there be light, and there was light. So if this is the one, and again, if you're not faith-based, that's cool. Just skip this part. I'm going to go into science and all this stuff in a moment. I bring all the disciplines together today in a nice package to show you. Atheists love this, agnostics, believers, it'll all fit together, don't worry. But God said, let there be light, and there was light. Abracadabra. Now, we are made... Does anyone know this picture? What's this picture? You know it, because you're my former art teacher in college.
Ceiling is Michelangelo's creation.
There you go. Former professor of mine from college, seriously. Fine arts guy, Dr. Gano. But this is in the Renaissance. We are created in God's image. Wait, hold on. We're created in God's image, everything but the abracadabra, right? No. We're created in God's image, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. What if you had those faculties inside you that you were actually supposed to speak, and then things were supposed to happen? Well, only people who are unhackable can make that happen. So let's keep running. I believe that ideation, and then next is implementation. Ideation just means ideas, and implementation means action, and I believe that there's not supposed to be a gap, but there is. I believe that you were supposed to become an idea factory. This says dream and do, dream and do. I believe this is what you're supposed to experience in life, that you have a dream and you do it. You have an idea and you implement it. Has anyone ever met someone like this that kind of does this? You've met somebody? You've met somebody? Are they weird? Are they crazy?
No.
They just are able to have an idea and then boom, it happens. Are they special people? Are these the superpowers? Or are we all supposed to have that ability? I think we are. By the way, happy birthday to Rick Copeland in the room. Yes, happy birthday. All right, let's keep rolling here. This is the reality for most of us. I have an idea, and I go into stagnation. We go from ideation to stagnation. Ideation to stagnation. How many of you are like, that sounds like me, or it's been me before, right? And here's what I would say to you, up until now. Never write your past into your future. These magic words, I see a husband and wife here, I think I met you guys in the beginning. Whenever you get in a fight, not that you ever do, but when I do, but whenever you get in a fight and, it's said, honey, you never take out the garbage, I want you to say, up until now. Up until now. And then you take out the garbage, right? In other words, give yourself the ability to rewrite your story. Is this true? Up until now. So, this is what normal people experience every day. Ideation, stagnation, frustration. Ideation, stagnation, frustration. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's not who you are supposed to be. Here's what we live in, a world of constant distractions. We live in a world of constant distractions. How many times do you think the average person touches this per day? Touch, click, swipe. I heard the word thousands. Wow. 80? 100? Okay, let's see. 2,617 the average. Heavy users are actually 5,427. 5,427. That would be if you're a millennial. Okay? And if you're a senior, no, I'm kidding. If you're a senior, it's 2617. Now, I know some seniors who can put me, way down. I mean, they're fast. Those thumbs are fast. They must exercise their thumbs. But this is according to D-Scout research firm. You can Google this stuff, guys. D-Scout research firm. So, most of these are not constant. Rarely does somebody sit there and just, what they are is they're bursts. They're bursts throughout the day. 5 hours a day on screens, or 1/3 of your waking hours, which is half of these uses, are 30-second bursts. 30-second burst. Boom, 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 boom. And then, focus on something else. All you need to do is realize that the average day, most people, according to Cal Newport, a guy who wrote a book called Deep Work, most people are distracted work versus deep work. Has anyone had this? There's a simple task to do that would take like 2 minutes, but because they're watching Netflix and doing it, it actually takes 29 minutes. Is this true? Yeah, this is true. We do this all the time. We rarely have deep work. We often have distracted work. I had surgery last January, a year ago. Do you think I want my surgeon to be distracted work? No. Do you think I want him on his cell phone while he's cutting my shoulder open? Not at all. We say it's not okay for surgeons. Why are you any less? You are doing surgery on people's self-limiting beliefs if you're a coach. You are doing surgery on people's inabilities to paint their house. Every professional is doing surgery on something. Why do we say that it's okay for, us, but not for a surgeon? There's a gap there. You guys learned something so far? Anybody? Okay. Here's distractions. Check this out. 23.5 billion on video games. All right? 11 billion per year. 11 billion hours is spent watching videos on Netflix. I'm not against watching Netflix. I'm not against video games. What I'm saying is that we've swung the pendulum. We've swung the pendulum and people are living in a video game. Why? Because it gives them affirmation. It gives them identity. They have a skin that everybody can see. I've learned this because I have a middle schooler, okay? Because this isn't my talk. But the skin allows people to see that character and they say, oh, wow, they've accomplished and achieved a lot. I mean, is this crazy or what, right? The average person sees 5,000 ads a day. The average person makes 226.7 food decisions. Now you might say, well, I don't consciously make that. No, you don't, but you subconsciously. When you scan the McDonald's screen and you see all those choices, your subconscious brain is working and you don't feel it, but you feel burnt out at the end of the day. Does this make sense? 100 years ago, the stimuli that farmers and other people experienced was way less. So they could go all day without feeling burnt out, without feeling they need a 12-pack or a 6-pack to get through the next day. But we today have to medicate ourselves because we're processing so fast, and so we self-medicate with all kinds of things, not just substances. Again, Cornell University. This isn't, hey, Kerry came up with this off the top of his head. I've researched everything that I'm sharing today. I tell people all the time, a life of distractions will never produce a life of meaning. If you want a life of meaning, folks, you need to live distraction-free. So how can we do this? How can we do this? And some of you today are saying, well, gee, I can multitask. You know what? I've heard that stereotype a lot. I can multitask. I'm a woman. Okay, I've heard that before, all right? And listen, I'm a man who can multitask. It's weird, I know. It's probably my girl's name. It probably seeped into me. But I can multitask too, but here's the problem. You can't multitask cognitive functions. Sure, you can listen to a podcast and mow the lawn at the same time. One is automatic and one is cognitive. But just try to have two people up here One person's telling me a story, Joel, and Renee's telling me about her sales funnel and can I help her? And you've done this before. As a parent, if you're a parent, you've done this before. You say, kids, I can't listen to both you at the same time. What do you need, Johnny? Okay, there you go. What do you need, Susie? Okay, there you go. Isn't this true? You cannot do two cognitive things at the same time well. Your IQ actually goes down. They've done the research. It's called switch tasking. What you're doing is you're micro switching. You're switching between this and this and this and this, and as a result, you wear your brain down much faster. Your attention, actually, you experience what's called decision fatigue. This is why Mark Zuckerberg and Barack Obama, they automate what clothing they're going to wear. You guys have read articles about this? You've heard about this? They don't waste their decisions on what wardrobe they're wearing because they don't want to experience decision fatigue. They actually automate these things automatically, okay? Decreases productivity 40%. Your IQ is like you being stoned. Seriously, when you switch tasks, they've done scans, your IQ is worse than being stoned. That's something for you, all right? But here's the problem. We have a tribe, some of you are guests, welcome guests, but we have a tribe called the Igniting Souls Tribe, and many of these clients for years, this was 2 years ago, I saw them having the best intentions. They wanted to crush it. They wanted to make things happen. They wanted to have online businesses. We gave them all the content they needed, all the training, but then they were going out and trying to do it, and they experienced self-sabotage. They experienced distraction, and it bugged me. You know what I'm saying? It bugged me, because when you write a book and create a course, and you do these things, you want people to experience results. And I kept saying, why are people getting sidelined? And then I realized, you know what? They're getting hacked. They're getting hacked. People wrote in and said, man, I wish I could finish my project, or, you know what, I struggle with distractions, or how can you help me, you know, make it so that my dreams and goals are not pushed aside all the time? Well, you know what we did? I went out on a mission. I went out on a mission back in probably 2014, and I began to just look at neurobiology. I began to look at productivity, high performance, success, science, technology, many other disciplines. Why? Because I care about people, and I wanted them to have breakthroughs. I wanted them to have an idea and then ideate, to have a dream and then do. And David wanted to do this as well. So we said, you know what? We're going to coin a term called unhackability. And you know what? This is what our research has shown. This is what we're seeing, that in a world of increasing distractions, the people who are these super achievers are, guess what? The people who've discovered how to become unhackable. These are the people that are becoming the super achievers. The people that are at the doctor's office that aren't just sitting there waiting on doc because he's got, you know, 5 other people that he's late with, and you're just sitting there. You actually have an audio book, and you're listening to it and then writing notes for your next book through your audio notes. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you guys can actually do this, and there's little tips today that I'm going to give you. Now, I know what you're probably saying. Does this work? Is it just theory? I showed you about Tanisha. I showed you about Jeff Kramer. But I want to give you 3 quick stories about how it worked for me. This could take 20 minutes, so I'm not going to do it. Some of you were in the room when this happened, so you can vouch for me, all right? Wow, that was a distraction. All right, so let's keep going. Number 1, this method helped me partner with Hollywood celebrities. Some of you were in the room when this happened, so people can talk to you. Number 2, it helped me create an international brand and business. And number 3, it helped me set a world record. Would that be cool? Would that be cool? I mean, those were my goals, but if you took this thing called unhackability and applied it to your life, your goals would be much different. But would that be pretty cool? Do you guys want to see pictures of these real quick, just to be like, is this dude real?
Yeah.
You want to see that? Okay, I do too. I mean, because I would want to know. Number 1, this happened with Shawshank. Pat was there. Pete was there. Rick was there, right? So what happened? Well, long story, I'm not going to go into a ton. All I'm saying is I had a dream. I had an idea, write a book, write it in Shawshank Redemption, and then launch it with Hollywood celebrities. It didn't come to me all in one download, but it kind of came to me over a period of short days. And guess what? I wrote the book, Day Job to Dream Job. Here I am, sitting in Shawshank Prison right now in Mansfield, Ohio. I didn't even know Shawshank Prison was in Mansfield, Ohio. I was just watching the rerun because it plays 305 times a day, right, on cable. And I said, I got to write a book about how you're stuck in your day job, your prison, and how you can go into your dream job, your Zihuatanejo. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to make this happen. And so my wife said, you're crazy. You're going to drive up and go to jail? What are you doing? You know, she said, how are you even going to get in there? I said, I don't know. But I started applying some of these principles, and sure enough, why did I want to do it? Because I had a big why. If I can partner with Hollywood celebrities, the #1 movie of all time, it outranks The Godfather even, I could then write a book about this. It would totally get me on the map. And sure enough, it happened. They had a reunion the same year that my book released, and guess what? It was in the LA Times, it was in the New York Times, Shawshank 20 years later, and guess who became the Shawshank author on their website? Me. Someone said, you're Stephen King, by the way, he wrote Shawshank. I'm like, no. Well, they advertised me as the Shawshank author, okay? And I was right below the celebrities. So there's celebrities and then Carrie, which was fun. It was in the LA Times, okay? And then guess what? There's a cocktail party with celebrities, and there's me signing my book, Day Job to Dream Job. Pretty crazy? Absolutely. Here's me with the warden, okay? This is real stuff. Here's me at the cocktail party. I just did my book signing, had this idea, and here's me. And there he said, to Carrie, from the warden, to a real Christian, he said, because I guess in the movie he's a fake Christian. I don't know, but that's what he said. And sure enough, he launched my book. What book is he holding? My book. Is this crazy or what? But it happened. It happened. That's why I'm passionate about this, because I've seen it change people's lives. Here's Author Academy Elite. Author Academy Elite is now a multi-7-figure business. It came to me one day. Here's a lot of you. Here's a lot of our authors. We now have over 700 authors that have joined our program from all across the world. All these books have been published. Why? Because I took my idea, I implemented it. I had a dream, I did it, okay? Some of your books are up here. And number 3, I wanted to set a world record. How many of you remember this? Some of you were in this very building when we set the world record. Erica was there, Joel was there. What did we do? We did the world's largest ever global live stream book release party. It was in 157 satellite cities. There's Joel Kessel right there. Again, I'm not making this up. What's up, Joel? Good to see you. And sure enough, there's the numbers, and we launched the book. Okay? So folks, I'm saying this stuff works. Fair enough? You got enough proof? All right, you ready to get into the content? All right, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. Here we go. Get ready. What would need to happen? I'll tell you what, for most people, doesn't even matter, because they're going to get hacked. Is this true? Most people, doesn't even matter what you wrote on your paper, because you know what? You're going to go out and say, oh, there's a new Netflix series. Cool. You know, and we say, oh, squirrel. Or we say ADD or ADHD or, you know, shiny object syndrome. We name it all kinds of things, but the reality is that we get hacked. And I don't want that to happen anymore. In fact, you've been hacked. Not your credit card, not your computer, not your phone. I'm talking about a much scarier thing. Again, I spent years researching this, but what hack means, what the word means, is to gain unauthorized access to a computer or a system. That's what a hack is. I know we use hack positively, like life hack, or I found a hack we refer to as a shortcut. The literal meaning is to gain unauthorized access to a computer or a system. You might say, Carrie, but I'm not a computer or a system, right? Is that what we say? But I'm a person. Well, guess what? Hacking is, there's a website called Hackmageddon, where I got this from. A little bit scary. Hackmageddon. But cybercrime, hacktivism, cyber espionage, cyber warfare, it talks about the industry of hacking in video games, oil. I don't care about any of that stuff. That stuff doesn't worry me. I'll tell you what worries me a lot more is when people get hacked. Credit cards can be replaced. Computers can be replaced. Phones can be replaced. But you cannot be replaced. And when someone hacks you, I'll tell you why. Because your body is made up of systems. Remember back to biology class? Can anyone name one of the systems? Nervous system, respiratory system, circulatory system. Your body is made up of systems. And from all the latest research, your brain, this is New York Times, is a supercomputer. So if your body is made up of systems and your brain is a computer, do you think you can get hacked? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that cool? I mean, it's not cool, but it's kind of cool that we finally realize that this is what's happening. The most damaging thing in the life of the child is what? According to Carl Jung, you hear me say this all the time. The unlived life of the parent. Carl Jung says that the most damaging thing in the life of a child is not alcoholism, it's not abuse, it's not abandonment, it's a parent who they see day in and day out, whose unlived life. Why? Because they say, well, why should I go to school? Well, why should I go get a job? Look at you, you hate your life, you hate your job. They can see it, they can see it. I think the unlived life is, guess what? Nobody wakes up and says, you know what, I want to be an unlived life parent today. I mean, come on, nobody says that. Here's what's happening. It's the parent who gets hacked. Because that parent has dreams, goals, and desires. So that's why when I speak today, I'm not speaking to a few people in this room today, or thousands of people online. I'm speaking to your future generations. Even if you don't have kids, you're an uncle, you're an aunt, you might be a friend. People are watching you. That's why I'm talking about this today. All right. Let's talk about who's hacking you. Would that be good?
Yeah.
We got 45 minutes left. You ready? Who's hacking you? Who's hacking you? Because if we know who it is, we can kill them, right? Would that be fun? Well, before you say yes, hold on. Let's talk about who's hacking you. How many of you have ever said this? For the reason why your dreams don't come true. Others won't approve. The economy is bad. I don't have the time. How many of you said it, right? There are too many distractions. I don't have the money. Nobody will promote me. I used to say that one. You know, I just don't have a big platform. I don't have a team. What's interesting about all those things? What's interesting about all the words in white? Others, economy, time, distractions, money. Nothing to do with you. Yes. Yes. See, we use this all the time. We say the reason why I'm not achieving what I want to achieve is them. They're the ones. Look, distractions, money. You could even blame nobody. Some of us are blaming nobody. But at least it's not us. Right? Who is nobody? I don't know. Let's kill them. Right? Here's the point. You guys know this. Some of us are laying in bed. Blame, excuses, and denial. We're lying in bed. Blame, excuses, and denial. We're living below the line in our lives. When in reality, we've been called to live above the line in our lives. We've been called to put our oar in the water and move forward. Oar means ownership, accountability, and responsibility. That's when things begin to change. That's when things begin to change. When you stop living as a victim, where you say the world happens to me, and you start saying, I want to become a victor, where I happen to the world. We see this in business, Steve Jobs, right? Bill Gates. We see this in faith, David, when he fought Goliath. Put me in, coach. I'm a victor. I'll take ownership. I'll take responsibility. All the other people were running. Here's Goliath. He's, let's blame, excuses, denial, not me. The hack attack. Not the Big Mac attack back in the 90s or whenever we grew up in those days. I'm going to talk about the hack attack. It's even scarier than the Big Mac attack, all right? The conspiracy. So, who is the identity? Let's be honest. Who's the identity? Who's hacking us? Us. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, because if anybody doesn't agree with that, there's the door. I can't help you because I can't control the economy. I can't control other people, but I can control me. So I'm the culprit. Now let's talk about the conspiracy. Do you want to see what happens inside your brain when it gets hacked? Would that be pretty cool?
Yes.
All right. The other day, a few years ago, same thing, a few years ago, I was watching a 60 Minutes episode with my wife where someone was learned how to hack into cars while they were driving, because they're all based on computers, right? So what they did to prove their point is they brought in the lady and the guy who are these 60 Minutes people, and they're sitting, and this was all, planned. They knew this was coming. But then you got some hackers behind a dumpster. They can't even see them. And guess what? They hack into the car. So here they are driving down the road, and the horn starts blaring. And then they start driving down the road, and the wheel turns on them. And they start freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh. And then they crash. But the point is this. They were safe. The point is this. Someone hacked the car, and all these emotions began to happen to people. And what I did is I started to look at what happens in our brain, and I realized, you know what? This is exactly what happens to us. When we get hacked in our lives, the first thing we lose, we say we lose control. We might not say it, but we definitely feel it. We feel like my life is not in control anymore. I'm not in control. The second thing, we lose clarity. Okay, this is what the sequence that happens when you get hacked. You lose control, you lose clarity, you lose competence. And then what happens is you lose confidence. Some of you right now are saying, if I was honest, I don't have confidence in my life. It's because you don't have control, you don't have clarity, and you don't have competence. It's a symptom, it's not the problem. You don't say, hey, my problem is I don't have confidence. You look back and realize, oh my gosh, it's a symptom. And then what happens is you lose insight, you lose influence, because people don't want to be influenced by people who are incompetent. You lose impact, and then the last thing is you lose income. So some of you today, right now, if you're being honest, look, I know situations happen, health bills, this type of thing, but some people who are perpetually low on income might have realized, you know what? I definitely see the process. I definitely see the process that lack of income is a result of some of these other things that are happening. Here's what happens. When you experience a hack attack, you have loss of control. Notice here's what you say to yourself subconsciously. You don't say this out loud, but you say, I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge anymore. Then what you say is, you know what? I am confused. These are I am statements. Number 3, I am not good enough. Once you lose competence, you suddenly say, I'm not good enough. Then what you say is, I am an imposter. Guys, I was here. If you don't know my story, if you're a first-time guest, when I was a young adult, so I struggled with self-injury. I was a cutter. That's how I made it through my teen and young adult life. And I found myself at the age of 23, a pastor in a small country town. Dr. Gano, Pete Gano, in the back was my college professor. So he actually knew me, and I was the campus chaplain. I was the guy on stage who was like the model, not looking, but the model of like who you should be, model student. But I was self-injuring. I was cutting. And in my 23, at the age of 23, leading my first church, preaching sermons on Sunday, self-injuring on Monday. That's the disconnect that I felt. That's why I'm passionate today about speaking, because I know I had zero impact when I was living a life of dualism, duplicity, struggling. What happens is success is a stage and there's spotlights. And what happens is when you want to become successful but you feel like an imposter, you actually self-sabotage so you don't have to be on the stage. Do you realize that? Why? Because success doesn't ruin you, it reveals you. Success doesn't ruin you, it reveals you. And so back in my young 20s, I wanted to change the world, but I was running from the stage because I didn't want to be revealed. Some of us have felt this way, and it's a sickening feeling. It's a spiral. So how do you get out of it? We'll talk about that in a moment. But when you lose insight, you have no inner voice. When you lose influence, you have no effect on others. When you lose impact, you have no credibility. And when you lose income, you have no currency. No currency. Feel free to take a picture if you can't write it all down, because I know I'm going fast today. But this is what happens with the hack attack. And Erica, are people online, they're still catching this? They're relating to all this? Yeah, they're saying, hey, that's me, that's me. You bet. But here's what's interesting. it not only goes to this, it gets one more bad thing, and then I'm going to share some good news. But the bad thing is, notice this. Let me go back to this slide. These are I am statements, the first four. What are the bottom four? I have. So what you do is you wake up every day and you say subconsciously, this is not consciously, you say subconsciously, who am I? Nobody. And what do I have to give the other people, world? Nothing. Do you think that you're going to make an impact in the world when you think you're nobody and you have nothing? No. Do you think people can feel this in you?
Yes.
Share, you're in sales and you're a great salesperson because it worked on me. But do you think that when we do sales with people in life, do you think people can catch things? They can feel. Maybe they can't put their finger on it, but they can feel when someone's lying. They can feel when someone's not telling the truth. Do you think that? Yeah, absolutely. This is all coming subconsciously. I am, I have. So how do you change the hack attack? I'll share that with you. But first we got to talk about the cost. What is the cost of getting hacked? There is a cost. There's definitely a cost to getting hacked. What's at stake if I get hacked? Here's some of the things that I've realized. Relationships, peace, success, health, freedom, purpose. What else? You guys relate to any of these so far? Finances, legacy, joy, and reputation. These are just 10 that came to mind real quick. When I get hacked, these things suffer. Health. Oh wow, we've been there before, right? You start getting distracted, you start getting off, your health begins to suffer. So, you guys ready to learn the answer? Enough bad news, you ready for the good news? If I just gave you the good news in the beginning, you'd be like, psh. It's like a doctor. Doctor goes in and says, hey, you need chemo. You're like, what? What are you talking about? I'm great. He's like, no, actually, here's the tumor, and it's going to kill you. Okay, now I'll do chemo. So, does it make sense? I had to share the bad news first. Now we're going to talk about idea, focus, and flow. This comes from the Elixir Project experience. Step number 1, idea. What you need is what's called flawless idea anatomy. Flawless idea anatomy. There are certain ideas that are hardwired to work because of certain components built into them. And there are certain ideas that are not hardwired to work because they lack certain components. What do I mean by that? Ideas don't change the world. Perfect ideas do. If somebody says, hey, I got a great idea. Let's create super soaker squirt guns that are fueled by ground beef. Okay? That's an idea. Is that a flawless idea? No. Okay? It's hardwired to fail. But some of us have those types of ideas. What if you could dissect perfect ideas, identify the components that exist with perfect ideas, master those mechanics, and then just reverse engineer the process and leverage those results? You would then crack the code and discover the truth that anything is possible. Do you guys really believe anything's possible?
Yes.
In one of my books, The Deeper Path, I have all the self-limiting beliefs that were told to technology people and musicians. Things like, TV will never work. We will never have a man fly. Do you know who said that? One of the Wright brothers. Margaret Thatcher said the world will never have a woman prime minister. She became one. Guys, we say so many things that can't happen. The Beatles were told you'll never be successful. All right? These are all things that have been told. My point is this. I tell people often, stop agreeing with people's unbelief. Stop making an agreement with people's unbelief. People said, you can't write a fiction book and turn it into a business. David knows this. He's got the Infusionsoft results. We made 6 figures in 6 weeks with a fiction book in 2016. Some of you were at the event. How? Because I said, you know what? I'm not going to make an agreement with people's unbelief. So there are 4 components for flawless idea anatomy. These are the same components that are built into, hardwired into Martin Luther King Jr., speech, Jesus Christ's Sermon on the Mount, and JFK's Man on the Moon. Each one of these speeches, each one of these ideas, each one of these ethics has these 4 components hard-baked into them. We have 32 minutes and I still have 50 slides, so hang on. I'm going to go quick here, but these are the same components I used to partner with a Hollywood celebrity that I had no relationship with. This guy doesn't even know who I am. He probably still doesn't know who I am. But guess what? He helped me launch the book. It's the same things that helped us launch Author Academy Elite. How many of you are either writing your book with Author Academy Elite or you've written it? Okay, raise your hands high, raise your hands high. Look at these people. I mean, 30% of the room are now changing lives with their books because of a flawless idea. And then a global release party that set a world record. This helped us do all kinds of these things. All right, let's go into the second component really quick here, which is deliberate magnetic focus. Deliberate magnetic focus. This is true. How many of you have ever been to Alum Creek Beach? Anybody? Okay, why? I go there too, but it's toxic. No, I'm kidding. I live right near there. No, it's not toxic. But if you've been on the beach, you know that you can get sunburned. Is this true? Most people get sunburned at around, 2 or 3 hours where they get sunburned. Some of us a little bit faster, some of us never get sunburned. What if you had an instrument that could make people sunburn in 20 seconds? Would that be pretty cool? Is that possible? I mean, yeah, it would be awful. It would be. That's what I meant. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But wouldn't that be wouldn't that be interesting? What is the instrument? It's a magnifying glass. Same sun, same skin, massively shorten the gap. How? Focus. Same sun, same skin, focus. That's what it is. What if you had that same ability inside you? Where you could take a project and do it over 2 months, or you could do the same project and do it in 2 hours. Is that possible? What do you guys think? Has anybody ever seen someone and they're like, how do they do it all? Is it the same person? You must have like this person that's amazing. Right? But it's true, right? Certain people, there's a little phrase that we say, if you want to get something done, give it to a what? Busy person. There's certain people that are just known as like hustlers. I mean, they do it. They implement. Their focus is intense. You send them something and it comes back in like 5 minutes and you're like, what in the world just happened? How is that? Have they cloned themselves? Maybe. It's called deliberate magnetic focus. Here's the point. Your conscious brain, look at the research if you don't believe me, your conscious mind processes between 40 and 200 bits of information a second. Now I'm going to be quiet here for a second. Listen real close. Okay, feel the chair on the back of your back. Okay, feel the floor with your feet. Feel the shirt against your neck. You see, none of that stuff you thought about. Did you think about that stuff? You might not have ever thought about that in your entire life. I just wasted your life right there. I just wasted 10 seconds of your life. Here's the point. Here's the point. The point is that all this stuff happens automatically. All this stuff happens on autopilot. Your heart, your lungs, your focus, your attention, all this stuff happens. But you also have what's called, the unconscious mind. I flipped it, my bad. Conscious mind is 40 to 200. The unconscious is 4 billion. 4 billion. So when I'm listening to a webinar or I'm listening today, my brain's going very slow and I'm processing at between 40 and 200 bits of information a second. This stuff is happening 24/7. In your sleep, your body's repairing itself. All kinds of things are happening. You got a cut, your body's repairing the wound while you sleep. All these things. So, This is what's called your RAS filter, your reticular activating system. It's at the base of your brain. And what God did, or if you're an evolutionist, what evolution did, I'm going to say God, what God did is he wanted to protect and preserve your life. That's what your goal is. Your body wants to preserve itself. So what it does is it shuts out all other stimuli. This is why you could be at a busy airport and somebody says, Joel Kessel, come to gate 4, and immediately you hear it. Because all what was happening, you didn't hear it, but your name, which is part of your survival, you hear, and suddenly you're jerked into attention, right? This is why we call it our mind's eye. And I'm going to show you guys today how you can actually tell your mind what to find. How many of you have heard when the student is ready, the teacher appears? The teacher was there all along, but what happened? The student wasn't ready. The student wasn't looking. How many of you have ever married somebody, don't raise your hand, that you saw for years, but one day you saw them, right? And then you couldn't stop seeing them because your RAS filter was now changed, your reticular activating system. There's certain people in the room right now that literally have their RAS filter set to these things. Nothing ever goes my way. Here's another one, right? By the way, do you think they find that every day?
Sure do.
The world is against me, right? I am a loser, and I feel like I always do. Certain people wake up every day and their RAS filter is hardwired into this, and they see it every single day. This is why you can say, you know what, I want to get a red Hummer. And suddenly you go out there and you say, God is telling me I need a red Hummer. I see him everywhere. It's a sign. It's a sign. Have you ever done this? Yes, you have, right? Or I need a fishing pole or whatever. This is why when women get pregnant, they're like, oh my gosh, the whole world is pregnant. I mean, every talk show I see, the people are, look at her. You know, the newscaster, the weather, oh, you know, it's because you are now in tune to that, right? Some of you are laughing. It's your mind's eye. So here's the point. Don't focus on attracting into your life what you want. Instead, focus on what's already all around you. This is very different than the law of attraction. The law of attraction says, sit in a room and say, money come to me. And the money's going to come to you. You know, that's hokey, weird stuff. Okay? What I'm saying is, focus on attracting into your life what's already around you. Meaning, it is around you. David, my business partner now, was around me. I was a pastor and he was a guy at the church, and you know, 7-8 years later here, we're trying to change the world. Open your mind's eye and you'll see everything you need to implement your idea. Stop saying, I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. You're telling your body that you're disconnected. It's not yours yet. Instead, say, you know what? It is here. It is here. I just need to meet that person. You know? Let's keep rolling here. There's 3 focus filters, we call it. It's an Elixir Project experience, 1, 2, and 3. I don't have time to get into them. But literally what it does, you take your attention and you layer lens 1, 2, and 3. And it's like you literally become more focused in your attention. This is why, you know, to date I have over a dozen books, because, you know, even when I had a day job, even when I had 3 kids, because I literally used focus filters. It's almost like cheating, but it's not. All right, now let's go into flow, the last step. The last step, this is one of my favorites. It's called optimal human performance, the peak performance state where you do your best and you feel your best. You do your best and you feel your best. Runners call this runner's high. If anybody's a runner, there's a term in the running world called runner's high. There's something in jazz musicians, they call it they're playing in the pocket. I'm not a jazz musician, so I wouldn't know. And basketball players say, I'm in the zone. You ever see something magical where a team, maybe it's LeBron, he just knows that the ball's going to be thrown up and he just smashes it, right? And he dunks it. It's like they're just playing with one mind. All these different components. How is that? Well, there's characteristics. You've been in flow. You've absolutely been in flow before. It's what's called total absorption. Have you ever caught up with a friend that you haven't seen in a lot of years? And what happens when you sit down with them? The conversation just flows, right? And what happens is the waiter came and served you food, and the waiter brought coffee and dessert, and you don't even remember eating it. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
We're like, what did we even eat? I mean, when did she come? Oh, there's the check. I guess I ate food. Total absorption. I've been there before. It was in my dating period, right, with my wife. It's called the deep now. It's called the deep now. Again, Google this stuff, folks. What I've done is I've synthesized decades of research into something called the Elixir Project experience, okay? Idea has never been blended with focus and flow in this same way. Deep now, the past loses its power, the future loses its promise, and you are just absolutely present. Absolutely present. Extreme focus. Extreme focus is another characteristic. There's 8. This is where Captain Sully, you guys know this, what happened, what did he do? Anybody? Landed a plane in the Hudson. Katie Couric says, did you pray? What did he say? He said, no. I figured the 155 people behind me had that covered, right? He was extremely focused. He told Jeff, the co-pilot who actually hit the bird strike, he said, my plane, and Jeff said, your plane. And Sully took over. You guys have heard me play the tower control audio. They're shouting all kinds of things. Land here, do this, go fly here. And he's just, boom. He's absolutely focused. He was in flow. Time dilation. Time dilation, your brain has your prefrontal cortex, and what happens is it actually dims. When you're in flow, it actually dims, and it gets dilated. Either time speeds up, where you're talking with that friend, and you're like, oh my gosh, we were here for 3 hours. We ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. Or time slows down. When you're in flow, extreme athletes often say this, the skaters, the snowboarders, it looks like they're going so fast, but they will tell you, I literally felt myself watching me. I literally saw every snowflake on the half pipe as I was spinning Shaun White, right? This is what they say, they're in flow. All right, vanishing sense of self. What happens is your inner critic shuts down. The judge shuts down, and you accomplish so much because the inner Woody Allen shuts down. And you suddenly begin to have no sense of self. You become one with the mountain. You become one with the book. This is where in this clip from Dead Poets Society, which I don't have time to get into, Todd is so worried about looking like an idiot and failing and standing up in front of his friends saying a poem. Robin Williams spins him, closes his eyes, and begins to actually get him into flow. And what you do is he steps back like this. Remember this scene? And Todd says his poem, and everyone claps. He experienced flow, and the creativity came. It's called transient hypofrontality. What this means is transient, temporary. Hypo is the opposite of hyper. It means slow, and frontality. This is the literal physiological term that happens when your brain gets into flow. Next one, optimal high performance. What do I mean by that? This is McKinsey and Company. They literally did studies with the top performing CEOs, and the top performing CEOs said that in concert with a gentleman, most people can't pronounce this, took me a long time. His name is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Yes, that is crazy. He's a Hungarian, and he came up with the concept of flow in all of his research. And what it says is that the top business performers, sports, arts, they all experience what's called flow. This is where the average person who's in flow accomplishes not 5 times more, but get this, 500% more productive. that means they can go to work on Monday and then go home and accomplish, more than the average person in their entire week. Do you guys know people like this? I mean, the top performers, they just accomplish mountains more than other people because they're in flow. How is that possible? What if you could do it? There's actually a shift in your brain waves that happens. You go from struggle. See, a lot of us have been taught, don't struggle. Don't struggle. If something's hard, don't do it. Don't do it. Little league people, you get a participation trophy. What happens is you're preventing people from getting into flow. The only way you can get into flow is to actually struggle. You want what's called stretch, but not snap. If it's too hard, you give up. But if it's not hard enough, you get bored. So what you want to do is you want to constantly struggle. What happens is you go from beta to alpha to theta and gamma to what's called delta, which is recovery. Not my own work. A gentleman from Harvard named Herb Benson, MD from Harvard, he's tracked what happens in the brain waves to get into flow. Would that be cool to experience that on a daily basis? What do you guys think? Shortens the gap to mastery. Anyone like that clip from Matrix where Neo's like, I need to fly an airplane, and they pop in the disc and suddenly he knows how to fly an airplane or a helicopter? Guess what? It's actually happening. Not quite like that, but this is true things from the new scientists where, guess what? The Defense Advanced Research Project Agency called DARPA is now getting their people into flow, and they're shortening the gap that it takes to become a master marksman. Isn't that crazy? They're actually doing this with flow today. Here's an article that says DARPA zaps snipers' brains to induce flow to cut down training time. Now you might say, oh, okay, that's real nice, Carrie. I want proof. Come on, man, I want proof. All you need to do is look at surfers. Surfing is a 1,000-year-old sport, and for 1,000 years, the biggest wave was very small, 25 feet. But now they're doing 100 feet tall. So either humans evolved in the last 20 years, or we've understood how to get into flow. Does this make sense? Snowboarders used to go 40 feet. Yeah. Now they're going 230 feet. You guys want to see a quick video? 60-second video. Gymnastics in 1950, we all would be gold medalists. You guys want to see this? Watch the 1950s on the left. Watch the 2016 on the right. This is fun. You like that? Look at this move. It's deep. Watch it on the left. Don't miss it.
Wow.
This is my favorite. I could do that on the left, I think. Maybe not. Wow, that was good. Right there. I like that. And then watch this one. Okay? Either humans are evolving or we're learning how to tap into flow. And that's what's happening. We're learning how to tap into flow. Things are drastically changing. The last thing I'll share here on this point is that it's not fight or flight. Being in flow is not fight or flight. Being in flow is where options suddenly begin to open up. Captain Sully on the plane was not fight or flight. Suddenly, I could land in the Hudson, popped into his brain. Why? Because neurochemicals were happening. It's called expanding your options. Check this out, folks. This is pretty cool. There's 5 neurochemicals that happen in your brain. Norepinephrine, which increases your heart rate, emotional control, and attention. This is why certain geniuses, Dr. Gano from the fine arts time, they didn't want to be bothered. I mean, you're writing crazy stuff at the age of 12 and 8. I mean, you are in flow. Norepinephrine is coursing through your brain. Dopamine. Every single thing that I'm going to share up here has a counterfeit synthetic drug that human has created that is much less powerful. God put in your brain the 5 chemicals that I'm about to share. We try to say, you know what, just give me speed. Just give me Valium. Just give me pot. And it's a small, much less potent, much less, fabricated synthetic, when inside, God put this in your brain, dopamine, that gives you superhuman focus, pattern recognition, skill-enhancing abilities, endorphins that you can withstand discomfort. Look at CrossFit people. Oh my gosh. Talk about discomfort. A lot of them are getting into flow. Sure, some are doing it wrong and hurting themselves, but a lot of them are able to achieve superhuman things because of endorphins. And anandamide, which augments lateral thinking, and it links contrasting ideas together. Anyone see A Beautiful Mind? Where he's like putting all this stuff up and all of a sudden, he's in flow. He's in flow. And then number 5, serotonin, which stays on task in spite of pain. Flow is ubiquitous, which means anybody, even Pat and Pete, are amazing, mature people in the room. You know, I love you guys. You're the tribe grandparents. You guys can experience as well as a young kid. It can happen anytime, given that certain conditions are met. Last year, Wendy Gentry wanted to achieve this. She wanted to complete her PhD. She wanted to experience her dream job. She wanted to start a podcast. She went through the course, and here's what she did. You guys know Wendy?
Yeah.
You know her. She completed her PhD, she landed her dream job, and she launched her podcast. These were things that were holding her back. She could not get them accomplished. She went through Elixir Project experience, and here's her own words. Laser focused, this program was the key to help me identify my boon, that's a term we come up, which is your highest goal, and translate it into an online business and podcast framework that I am so excited to nurture. I will be joining the January with a focus component of my launch. I don't know, maybe I read it wrong. But you guys get the point. She started her podcast. This was last year. Today's session, I went fast. I absolutely went fast. I didn't even get into several years of the content. But I want to challenge you. Did this make sense today? Did this make sense? Do you like this stuff?
Yes.
Do you say, I would like access to this? I want more. I gave you about that much. If I had this much, would some of you say, yeah? Okay, so here's the thing. Today was an event. I know that the best thing I can do today is I can encourage you to make a decision. I can motivate you. You made this a calendar issue, and I challenged you, hopefully, to really experience life transformation. It's like you can't go to the gym once in 2019 and say, hey, I'm healthy. Hey, I did my lap, you know? A process is encouraging development, matures people, is a culture issue, and it changes people. That's why I'm passionate about this. Don't get me wrong, I loved today. It was great. I had a blast. I hope you learned stuff. But for the people who just say, oh great, I got my notes, you gotta implement it. You gotta learn how to put this into your life, into process. So I'm gonna give you guys a private invitation. This is just for you guys here right now and online. And I'm gonna talk about this. If you can drop this in, Erica, and people can find it right now. It's just a shortened little, it's a private URL. This thing is honking long, it's secret, it's not out there. bit.ly/EPX, all caps, mini. And Joel, can you pass this out, especially to the people who've never gone through it? If you've never gone through it, I'm not gonna pressure you at all, just take one to look at it, okay? I'm gonna walk you through this here in a moment. Notice, this is the tour. I'm gonna give you guys the tour. Can I give you guys the tour? So check this out right here. I'm gonna stop my PowerPoint. I'm gonna show you my screen, and I'm gonna take you through this right now. So if you have a paper, that's cool, but look up here, because I gotta show you this, all right? Elixir Project Experience is going to help you go through what's called IDEA, flawless idea anatomy, deliberate magnetic focus, and optimal human performance. This is Brian. Some of you know Brian. Brian was making $12 an hour as a furniture repairman who basically worked with a moving company. He went through this course. Here's me telling Brian this content, teaching him, and suddenly his life changed. He created natural wood mirrors. As luck would have it, the Shawshank tree fell. As luck would have it, the Shawshank tree fell. Guess what? As luck would have it, I don't believe in any of that stuff. He suddenly got access to the tree. And the owner said, I want you to make the stuff from the Shawshank tree. His first piece, 3 bids over $10,000 on eBay. They've been making things on that tree. He's been in the news. Here he is. All this stuff happened because he said, you know what? I want this content, Carrie. I want to learn about idea, focus, and flow. 12 bucks an hour, woodworker. Now he's a minor celebrity right here. Been on the news a ton of time. Elixir Project Experience course, the full course, is 30 days long. It's intense. It's like the Navy SEALs, man. What we did is we created a mini course for busy people, a mini course that's 5 days, that's gonna get you some crazy good results. If you wanna go through the 30-day course later, you can. We'll take whatever you invest in the mini course and apply it to it. But the 5-day mini course has got so much success. People say, oh my gosh, after 5 days, I'm seeing things I've never seen. I'm making contacts, I'm connecting. I've started health patterns. I've unsubscribed from 140 things. I found $900 that was being billed from me every month. And this course is not goal setting. This is not, hey, let's set goals for 2019. Why? Because you'll get hacked. Goal setting courses are lame. Now you know your goals, and now you go out and try to do them and you get hacked. This is a course that helps you become unhackable. We have masterclass trainings. We have 5 videos that are dripped to your inbox every single day, me teaching you passionately, giving you small action items. This is something you could literally do from start to finish in 20 minutes. Start to finish 20 minutes, there you go. The masterclass is a little bit longer, watch that on the weekend. But here's the point, we give you a guidebook, you get lifetime, did you hear that? Lifetime access to the program and lifetime access to our private coaching community, which is called the Ignited Souls Tribe. So some of you already are part of that, which is great. Some of you are not. You get lifetime access where you can hang out with a new community and we'll help you out. It's called Elixir Project Experience. In the masterclass, I talk about the unveiling. I talk about the wool that's been pulled over your eyes to hide you from the truth, right? Not matrix sci-fi stuff, but the reality. Why marketers and why TV is wired to hijack your brain so they can keep your butt on the sofa, so they can keep selling you things. This is a conspiracy that's happening, and if you don't step out of it, you're not going to accomplish your dreams. It suddenly gives you back control. We got all kinds of results here, but here's the point. We're going to throw in some bonuses. David has a different unhackability style than me. David, he's not even listening. See, that's good. I mean that as a compliment. You know what he's doing? He's crushing it right now in the business. He's being unhackable, and we joke with each other, but he absolutely has a different unhackability style than me. Me, I'm the creative, I kind of do my stuff, and David just boom, 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 he crushes it. You can be unhackable and be an artistic person or be an engineer. It's okay, it still works. So we did a special training where David shares what he did, and I share the way I do. Another bonus is we say fictionpreneur. How did I turn this book into a course? Guess what? That whole training is built for that, and we give it to you free as a bonus. We give you another bonus called How to Get Clients That Insist on Paying You. Yes, paying you. Here's Jim Akers, who said, you know what? I just went through this training called, whatever I called it, how to triple your rates here. He says, I just coached a client. The client gave me a check, and he said, I didn't feel like you charged me enough. I got so much value. The check is what I thought was fair. Fair means he nearly tripled my rate. Folks, I'm telling you, you take that training, it's going to change the way you view any clients that you have. Jim got a check for 3 times the value. He didn't even have to ask. All this stuff, how much do you guys think this is worth? What did I say in the beginning? 832. Now that would be fair, but it would knock out a lot of people because you didn't walk in the door to say, or you didn't join online today and say, hey, I got $832 I'm investing. So David and I met, and what we decided to do was 47. 47, guys. The price of you and someone else probably going out to dinner. And that will enable you to have lifetime. Listen, and if you're here as a couple, I don't care if you buy and you share, okay? Because you're married, or some of you are, maybe you're not. Maybe I just married you on the spot, okay? But my point is this: I want you guys to have this, and I'm so passionate about it that what we're going to do is we are going to basically give you a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you go through this, literally go through it, not just, hey, I bought it, hey, there's the exercise bike. If you go through this thing and you say, you know what, not worth it, you tell us, absolutely fine, keep the bonuses, and we'll refund you. We'll refund you. Cool? So some people say, well, how much does this cost? How much does this cost to become unhackable? Well, you know what? What's the cost of getting hacked? Let's look at it that way. See, unsuccessful people say, what is it going to cost me to take action? Successful people say, what's it going to cost me if I stay the same? Did you catch that? It's a big difference. Unsuccessful people, what is it? I'm going to stay seated, my butt's in the seat, I'm not taking action. What's it going to cost for me to act? Successful people say, what's it going to cost for me if I stay exactly the same? And most people are getting hacked in relationships, peace, success, health, freedom, purpose, finances, legacy, joy, and reputation. Is that worth 47 bucks? I mean, you guys tell me. Only you can answer that question. So, again, we're doing it at 47 bucks, and I tell people it's zero. Why? Because you will experience much more than $47 worth of transformation from it. Jeff Kramer got 900 bucks back immediately going through the course in the first few days. Again, 100% satisfaction guarantee. What we're going to do for you guys as well, you online and you here, we like people who act. So if you're like, you know, I'm going to think about it. Oh, look, there's Applebee's. You know, oh, look, hey, the Clemson one. You know, hey, yeah, let's go look at Clemson, Alabama. You know, how about the Buckeyes? You see what happens? I mean, this happens every day. We just get hacked. We're so passionate about this that we're going to give you guys the Success Fast Tracking training. It's an extra training, and we're going to give it to you guys for you who buy now, like before you leave here, and for people online in the next 10 minutes. Here's Laura. She wanted to do these things, and her daughter died. She's got a ministry for grieving parents. She wanted to host a virtual summit. She wanted to increase her speaking, went through the course, wrote 2 books, became a national speaker, and hosted her own virtual summit. Here's her own words. I've learned how to flow in a much more productive way when creating and writing. I've learned how to go from idea to actually seeing it through with limited distractions to derail me. I became certified in coaching, and this month I started my first coaching to clients, and my productivity has increased by 500%. So guys, it does seem too good to believe, but you know what? It is. Like, why not do it? So I'm going to answer questions here. I'm going to stick around, but if you've seen this movie, I'll close with this slide. Some of you are living this life, right? You guys remember this? Who wants to stay and watch Groundhog Day? Anybody? Yeah, some of you. Groundhog Day, it made sense because people related with it. I don't want you guys to have a Groundhog Year or day because you have a Groundhog Year, you're going to have a Groundhog Life. That's sad, right? I mean, the movie's funny. It's sad to have a Groundhog Year life, but many people are doing that. So I'm going to stick around. I'm going to answer some questions. Does anybody here in the room have a question or online? Any question about the content, the course? You guys in the room right now, if this is something you want to do, you can just fill it out right now. David will take that, and we'll get you signed up today. Anybody have any questions about idea, focus, flow, Erica, anybody have questions online? Unhackability, Renee.
Not so much a question, but I did this a couple of years ago.
Come on up, Renee. Come on up. I know you don't want to come up, but hey, come on up. Because otherwise those people can't hear you.
So a couple years ago, I did this when it was promoted, and it really helped me to see things differently. It helped me to be able to not just focus on something that was just one business thing or whatever. It actually helped me in everyday life.
Awesome.
And what I
Because
found,
you're a mama too.
yes, I'm a mom. I'm a business owner. My husband and I own a business, and then I also have my own things that I like to do that are my business that I'm growing and I'm excited about. But that being stated, it was helpful to not just have it that year. I actually did it again the next year.
Wow.
And so I think it's something that because you have lifetime access, you can continue to do, and I'm excited to do it again.
Fantastic. That's why we actually are doing it around January, because I do it in January as well, because I realize, you know what? I'm leaking. The hacks are coming in. I need to refocus and get focused again and start using the tools. Anybody else? Questions, comments, thoughts in the room? Okay. So guys, thanks so much for coming. I'm going to stick around and just chat with you guys as well. I'm also going to say something once we stop the recording. And thanks for being with us online, everybody. It was great. If you know someone who needs to see this, tag them, share it. And this extra bonus is going to go away in a few minutes. So sign up right now. We'll see you. Take care. Awesome.